What are your views of the enforcement of laws that restrict and regulate the use of marijuana and on the use of helicopters in the enforcement of marijuana laws?
Good question. Especially for this crowd. Good question. My views on Pakalolo, marijuana. Oh no, I learned one new word, Puna butter. One of the blogs said that I had just answered the question similar to this, and then I later asked, what is Puna butter? And then they explained to me what Puna butter was. Oh, but they said that I had a Paris Hilton blonde moment. Anyway, my views on marijuana. One, change the law at the federal level. Change the law at the federal level, everything else falls into place. Number two, I'm not in favor of this helicopter stuff. Forget that. Forget it. Number three, making it easy access to our youth, I am against it. I myself am not a consumer, but I have heard and I have seen with my own eyes the value when it's medically used.
Emily?
I have to say, after 30 years, I was one of the people that voted to shut down the money for the eradication last year. And I've lived here all my life. I'm going to be 52 this month. And I've seen people flying. The helicopters have been flying for over 30 years. And to me, it's not about which is better, but I feel like the ICE problem is more critical. People getting killed, the mothers, grandmothers, wives, children. And so that's why we have this new bill coming up. I mean, not a new bill. We're going to put it on the ballot so the people can vote on it. So I feel that our priorities is kind of lopsided. We need to put ICE on top, marijuana on the bottom. And I've seen people use marijuana for medical reasons, and I see them, they're happy they can still survive. They can eat. They get cancer, they can try to survive a little longer. So my manao is, that's it, mahalo.
To Kale?
On the Pakalolo issue, I believe that it should be legalized here in Hawaii. And in addition to that, there should also be, with the helicopters that are flying over, not only for Green Harvest, but also in regards to the tour helicopters that are flying over to the homes. The FAA needs to make sure that the tour helicopters fly a coastal route and enforce it. They cannot come back to the residents and have the residents try to report what the number was underneath the helicopter in order for them to enforce it. They should be able to track these helicopters via radar. There are many issues that come before us in terms of drugs, and I think ICE is probably the primary issue that we need to put at the very top. And it's not Pakalolo. Mahalo.
To Gary?
First of all, I would vote for medical marijuana. When my mother was dying of leukemia, I was in the police department in Oahu. And if I had known where I could buy it or where I could get it, and let me tell you, that sounds crazy as from a policeman's standpoint, I would have done that for my mom because she struggled. I think that marijuana is just overrated as far as priorities, and that priority is at the federal level. It's not at this level. I would not fund any more of the helicopter flights, but I would try to make policy that would provide for some direction that the FAA could control these tour helicopters. I think all of us struggle with some of that, from a daily basis. As far as enforcement and as far as having the people vote on it, I think that the police, as a former police officer from Oahu, I don't think that the police officers themselves, the guys that are on the ground, have that high priority of marijuana.
Wayne?
Yes to medical marijuana. I mean, that is a definite yes to medical marijuana. To legalizing it, no. To decriminalizing it, yes. We should not keep any substance abusers in prison. Substance abusers belong in treatment facilities. Do I advocate for recreational use of any drugs? Absolutely not. Drugs were not meant for recreational use. People need to start appreciating their bodies, what their bodies do for them, the health, the chemical drug, and endorphins that can be produced in your own brain during exercise can be a stimulus in itself. There's all kinds of different things. As a health and fitness advocate for many, many years, I would be wrong in ever advocating for the use of recreational drugs.
Back 90 seconds to Camille.
I don't think I'm going to need 90 seconds. But anyway, to reiterate, change the law at the federal level, bring it down to the state and county. I agree, marijuana is not one of our priorities. We need to look at ice. We need to look at cocaine. We need to look at those drugs that's ruining the minds of our youth. And I mean ruining them. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to step up and change the laws so it works for what we need. Mahalo.